Welcome to our meditation time. I invite you to get comfortable and close your eyes if you wish. Relax and take some deep breaths. Let the chair fully support you. As you gently breathe, imagine you are breathing into your heart center. Take another breath and let any tension or busy thoughts just fade away. As you breathe, feel yourself relaxing into a deep and quiet place inside. As you rest there, imagine any concerns, any burdens, or any worries are offered in faith to the loving divine. Faith is the power of perception, expectation, and assurance. It awakens the inner spiritual forces that have the power to do anything. Faith transcends the limitations of fear, of physical pain, of mental depression. Faith leads us into greater communion with God. I have faith that Spirit is moving on my behalf to reveal more wholeness, more freedom, more health, and more abundance. And as we go into the silence now, open to your faith inside, to the still, small voice that guides you. Gently come back to the room now. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Remembering the deep well of faith and love that is always available to you. As this sacred time in the silence comes to a close, we remain open, receptive, and thankful for the faith within us. We welcome our church family, both in person and virtually, into our celebration service this morning. We know that divine grace and love greets and enfolds everyone today. We bless and are grateful for everyone serving today. Have a blessed day. Namaste. And so it is.
life searching.
I was on the wrong song.
All right, we're going to start again. We all get a reset button. Here we go. I spent my whole life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong, and there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Let's begin today with a meditation to help us feel our faith. Allow yourself to settle in to the support beneath you. Just breathe, letting your awareness of everything around you become still. Come fully into this moment of sacred space, created by your presence. This moment, right here, right now, is made sacred by your presence. Breathe into this idea and exhale any stale or stuck energy you might encounter. Breathe in again, and as you exhale, let go of any remaining energy that doesn't serve, letting your body become heavy and as relaxed as possible. Now, imagine the light of peace swirling gently around you, washing over you. Feel this sense of peace permeating every cell of your body as you cocoon yourself in this calm, becoming quiet and still. You are safe here, and you are fully present. You have come to the sacred moment that you have created to remember what faith means to you. You are becoming both grounded in and lifted up by faith. It is safe to relax here, let go, and just be. There is nothing for you to do, nothing that is required of you in this moment. Just rest. It is safe to rest and breathe and open. Come home to faith. The faith that you seek is not lost. It has not deserted you. It is still here within you, with you, for you, as you. Faith is here, and recognize that it's impossible to think your way to faith, because faith can only be felt. You must feel your way into faith. Know that faith is waiting for you, opening its arms and welcoming you right here and now. Faith is calling you home. And you have created this sacred moment to feel into it. Where do you feel this grace and light and ease of faith? What part calls your attention? Allow your focus to be there, the place in your body in this moment where you feel faith. You'll know it when you found it. Faith sparks peace, which sparks the joy that forms your smile. Feel into the peace and joy of faith, knowing it is here with you in this moment and always. And if you ever feel that faith has deserted or forsaken you, it is simply a reminder to get out of your head and breathe. Faith is here right now, and it is always with you. You are the truth of faith. And remember that it is meant to be felt. Your faith, your way within you. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Good morning and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. It's my job to ensure that you know that we actively welcome everyone who walks through our doors, whether they're real, here, physical, or our virtual doors. We welcome you. If you have come from other traditions or churches, you might wonder, do we really mean that? I can promise you that we do. Where other places might want you to conform to their criteria, their beliefs, their judgments, and their rules, we say, come as you are and let us celebrate you. As I was listening to Matthew and Dr. Richard perform in the Stone Soup concert a couple of weeks ago, I was noticing how incredibly uplifted I felt. And it occurred to me, stick with me here, that this feeling might be why other people listen to Christian radio. Now, while it's likely more likely that I would tune into the heavy metal station over the Jesus station, and yes, really there is a Jesus station, and apparently he is the host, I started to understand why people might actually make the choice for Christian radio. For one thing, we are bombarded by so much negativity in the news, at work, even from family and friends, that the idea of trying to selectively choose positive things to enter our consciousness seems like a good idea. And if I understand that my Christian music listening friend is trying to instill some goodness in his consciousness, I would call that common ground. And with all the divisiveness swirling around us, finding some empathy with someone who likes something different than I seems like something I should nurture. I had the opportunity this week to take a class with Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck, who literally wrote the Unity book on metaphysics. He commented to class that, quote, "We are identical in our divinity, but unique in our humanity," end quote. Let that sink in for a minute. We each bring our beautiful patchwork of skill, talent, ability, quirks, humor, preference, orientation, age, style, thoughts, and preferences to create the giant quilt of divinity that we might call God. I may come with sequins and ribbons and raspberry brownies, and you may bring highly polished stones, feathers, and spicy chilies. How grand is it that our diversity exists in lockstep with the God nature that is all of us? I've made it a goal to discover how others' ideas, likes, and preferences might be different than mine and try to find that common ground that unites us. When we do that, we connect at the level of our divinity and Christ consciousness, and that has to be the way to build peace. Thanks.
So, Cheryl, this is the day that you've been waiting for, and I know you're excited, yeah?
Right.
Yeah. I have talked to many of your neighbors, and they all absolutely adore you. How long have you been in this neighborhood, in your home?
40-some years. These were all new when we moved here. I feel very blessed. It's been so difficult to try to keep up with it by myself.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm so thankful for the help and feel like what a tremendous blessing.
So I think it's a beautiful thing when a community comes together and can truly reach out and make a change and impact in the person's life. And I think that's what we're doing today with Cheryl Martin. The beautiful part about it as well is seeing our total unity congregation coming together and doing good in the community and bringing practical spirituality to life. Everybody's having fun, everybody's smiling and laughing, and that's what it's all about.
It already looks so much better.
And I know you said you could see your house now.
Yeah.
Which is getting painted, and
It's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
it's been a delight to work with you, Cheryl.
Thank
Just a
you.
sweetheart.
All of your people have been so nice to me.
Yeah, the people at Unity are pretty special. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Wow, is that powerful? Yeah, and we did it as a congregation. My name's Daniel Kaufus. I'm work with Walayn Sharples and Tim Vokes as the co-leaders with our larger leadership team for Hands on Housing, and we're here to announce our 2022 kickoff for Hands on Housing on August 6th. So I understand a few of you may not be familiar with Hands on Housing. If you've ever been to an Amish barn raising, right, or seen home makeover, that's what we do in a day. We create miracles in the community, and we bring practical spirituality to life. I get goosebumps when I say that because it's true. And we're stronger as a congregation than we are as individuals. I'm here with Tim Vokes. Tim's going to give you a little walk down memory lane. We kicked off Hands on Housing at Unity about 3 years ago. Many of you have been parts of it. Tim's going to walk you through that, and then Walayn's going to tell you how you can help with this year's program.
Thank you. So, we go back 2019. All of this is Daniel's fault because he did this at a Unity church in Texas and brought this here. So I blame him. So you saw in the video, Cheryl Martin's was our first home. And one thing I want you to notice as we go through these slides here is look how many of our congregation participated in the one before COVID versus what happened next, all right? So if we'd move on, Cheryl Martin's was our first homeowner. That was her house. It's in there, trust me. We had almost 90 people, right? And what we did in a day, you saw some of it in the video, it was pretty incredible. So if we move on, we took that into, a lot of landscaping, painting, cleaning, you name it, went into this project. Pretty proud of that. And that's my knucklehead daughter on the roof. Okay. But look at the group we had. I mean, that was pretty special, right? And I think fun's an okay word? Yeah. And then second project, this is the year COVID hit. As we move forward, we did a home in Lynnwood in 2020 for Melanie. And as we move forward here, this is the start of our blue home theme, which seems to be a recurring thing. And basically, a lot of these homes haven't been painted or the yards haven't been tended to, and we remove a lot of stuff and we add a lot of beauty and love to this. So we took this house, complete painting and remake and over, planted gardens. What you can't see is a tremendous amount of the back that we resurrected, okay? And you can see the difference in size of our crew, though, versus that first year, okay? And then finally, last year, in the heart of COVID. This is our last homer, Cheryl, in 2021. Blue home, okay, we're good. But for once, somebody let us change it. So as we move forward, what we did in a day, we removed old cars. We sold a car she had that somebody actually thought was a collector and gave her money. And completely transformed and cleared out not only the front that you can see, but the back as well. So we have a good history. So as we move into 2022, I'd like to bring Walayn up here. She's sort of our PR organizing project lead / yeah. I didn't say drama queen, all right? She's going to lead us through our 22, but I hope to see you all here this year, okay? Thanks.
So when Daniel came to Humanitarian Outreach 4 years ago with this project, I was a huge yes. And I've been part of the leadership team since. And if you'll see on the next slide that our leadership team, is it coming? There we go. No? Yes. You can see in that slide that we don't have any fun at all. So if you want fun, go someplace else. But we have a ball and we work hard at the same time. So if you'd like to join the leadership team and be a part of the planning going forward, we would love to have you. Our 2022 home has been selected. There it is. The back is incredibly overgrown, which you cannot see right now. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup in the back as well as in the front. And our homeowner this year is Chinese. And she is not an English speaker, but expresses her gratitude so easily with words. And she is so very, very excited to have us come and do this in the coming year. And sometimes you work really, really hard and you put everything you've got into it. And then when it's over, you're like, did that mean anything? Did it make a difference? Well, I guarantee you, if you join us on August 6th, you will know it makes a difference. You will see the transformation in the property, you will see it in the smiles of the participants and the homeowner, and you will feel it in your heart. How many of you have done this? Just have a show of hands. Yeah, I'm right? Yeah. It's a great way to come together as a community. You'll meet people that you might not meet here in church. And what our world needs right now, I think, is communities coming together to create something beautiful. And that is what we will do. Registration is open. And you can sign up on the calendar on August 6th. You can come for as little or as long as you'd like. You can come in the morning, in the afternoon, all day. We would love to have you there around 12:30 for the picture. If you'd like, you can bring some snacks to share, because did I mention this is a ton of fun? There's music, there's snacks, there's laughter. Steve Mason will perform at lunch, which is being provided by our partner, Homage Senior Services. So it's a great deal of fun. Anyone is welcome. There's no skill necessary. If you have an expertise, please let us know, or if you have physical limitations, let us know. We'll find the perfect place for you. So do sign up, and based on us, we're going to have a picture where the arrow is now. Let's make it beautiful.
In this world, I walk alone, with no place to call my home. But there's one who holds my hand, the rugged road through barren lands. The way is dark The road is steep, but he's become my eyes to see, the strength to climb, my griefs to bear, my God who lives inside me there. In your love I find release, a haven from my unbelief. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. In these trials of life I find another voice inside my mind. It comforts me and bids me live inside the love the Father gives. In your love I find release, a haven from my unbelief. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
When the team invites you to visit the UIL calendar, they are directing you to unityinlynnwood.org. Go to August 6th. At that point, you are available to register for the grand event. It is the joy of a week to bask in the nobility of your presence. I begin with gratitude then. Gratitude for the immense gift of you. To you, I give thanks. What a joy. What a joy. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. It is the honor of a human incarnation to serve as the spiritual director for what I like to call an evolving, unfolding idea of oneness and possibility. You know this idea as Unity in Lynnwood. Its mission statement is comprised of 4 short words that represent deep, deep ideas. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. And so it is that every week I like to augment this short mission statement with one of the values statements we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. I'm pausing again just to say it is so good to see you. Have I not made that clear yet? Have I made that clear? I hope I have made that clear. Today I offer the second of 6 supporting statements. It reads as follows: we seek to discover and share spiritual practices which are repeatable and reliable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every area of our daily living. Practical, practical, practical. If you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of our time together, Unity in Lynnwood is so fortunate to offer a team of trained prayer chaplains under the inspired leadership of licensed Unity teacher Barbara Thorpe. I would ask the chaplains to now identify themselves by standing, please. Well done. Simply seek one of these individuals following the conclusion of our time together. Any or all would be honored to pray with you. You will find them pretty much right where I am now, except I will no longer be here. Every year, Unity Worldwide Ministries awards a Myrtle Fillmore Award. It is a big deal. This year, that award has been presented to Reverend Linda Spencer of Unity of Skagit Valley, one of our sister communities. Unity in Lynnwood is proud to host a regional celebration of this amazing teacher and being. If you would like to participate, registration to the general public is open. The event is scheduled for Saturday, July 16th, beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. right here in our sanctuary. We will also host a reception to follow. Reverend Nina Clark and I will teach prosperity this fall, Tuesday evenings, August 16th through September 13th. That's 5 Tuesdays, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. That's 9 o'clock p.m., meaning I might have to nap. It's been written, the natural order of things knows how to support its creation, both in whole and in part. The natural order of things, by whatever name you choose to call it, knows how to meet the needs of body and soul alike. So the troubling yet empowering question becomes, are you cooperating with the natural order of things, or are you frustrating the natural order of things? Join with others willing to get themselves out of the way of the natural order of things that longs only to prove itself. Register by visiting unityinlynnwood.org. Find it on the calendar page. We would love to have you deepen with us. Words of invocation. Take them in the manner best suited to you. Speak them with me enthusiastically. Speak them with me quietly. Close your eyes and allow the words simply to have their way with you. Welcome to Unity. Do it your way. Do it your way. They read as follows. Though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And if we did nothing else for the remainder of our time together, our time will have been well spent. And so it is. Have I told you how good it is to see Oh, you told me. Okay. All right. All right. I'll take that. I'd like to suggest that I think the Unity co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, had it right. They suggested that the Judeo-Christian Bible is something of a handbook for evolution. My term, not theirs. They suggested that the characters, the geographies, the narratives, even the animals all speak to aspects of spiritual growth, unfoldment, and development. And I say that I think the Fillmores were right because I think that's what all great works do. They speak beyond time and space to personal, universal, and relevant themes. So when I say I think the Fillmores were right, it shouldn't be heard as a brand of right that makes other wisdom teachings wrong. The Fillmores were right, so the Quran must be wrong, or the Fillmores were right, the Bhagavad Gita must be wrong, and so forth. Arrogance of this sort, perpetuated by religious people, is among the foundational problems of today's world. It's the bad news, really, but it's also the good news in the sense that if religious-minded people started that destructive pattern, we, as spiritually-minded people, can stop it. And we stop it every time we approach our planet's spiritual paths and their peoples with humility, with curiosity, and with respect. We stop it every time we pick up a Book of Mormon, a Tao Te Ching, a Course in Miracles, and have some good coffee with their peoples. Probably water with the Mormons, in all fairness, probably tea with the Taoists, but you get my point. So when I say I think the Fillmores were right, it should be heard as a brand of right that expands so far as to include even the timeless wisdom offered by Romeo and Juliet, the Wizard of Oz, the Hobbit, A Star is Born, and yes, I realize that I have somehow managed to insert Judy Garland, Barbara Streisand, and Lady Gaga into a conversation about Moses and Jesus. The three wise women. Right on. Right on. So in this, I've come to consider that in any sincere reflection on the various contributions to the Judeo-Christian library, and that is what the word Bible means, you understand. In any sincere reflection on the various contributions to the Judeo-Christian library, we begin to spot themes. We begin to see patterns. For example, have you ever noticed that Moses was an historical figure assigned the role of hero through a series of epic teaching miracles about nature, food, and healing? That Elijah was an historical figure assigned the role of hero in a series of bigger teaching miracles about nature, food, and healing? That Jesus then was an historical figure assigned the role of hero in a series of even bigger miracles of nature, food, and healing. Have you ever seen that? It doesn't diminish the teaching. It matures the teaching to begin to see such patterns. In any sincere reflection on the various contributions to the Judeo-Christian library, we begin to spot themes and patterns. And I've spotted a pattern that I hope you will find comforting this morning. Is there anyone present today who could use something comforting? I thought so. Now, let's see if I can make this point for you. It was a character named Abraham, widely considered, by the way, to be the first historical character And I would have you understand that for the original storytellers and teachers, it would have been considered absurd for a listener to literalize Adam and Eve. So Abraham, widely considered to be the first historical character, and Sarah, they were charged to have a child. Well, the problem was that Abraham and Sarah were too old. So in effect, it can be said that there really was no way. Sarah was too old, and that was that, right? So now, understand that lots and lots of people were too old in these stories. It was a storyteller's mechanism. It was a trope, if you will, designed to let the listener know that something special was underway. So Abraham fathered a child with Hagar, his handmaid. That child would be called Ishmael and would become a patriarchal figure in Islam. Shortly thereafter, Abraham fathered a child with Sarah. That child would be called Isaac and would become a patriarchal figure in Judaism. So it can be said that Islam and Judaism are cousins, if you will. Maybe half siblings. I don't know. I'm really not very good at that sort of thing, but yet again, you understand my point. Now, this Isaac went on to father Jacob, who went on to father 12 sons who would become leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob's favorite was Joseph, a reality which both destined Joseph for greatness and got him sold into Egyptian slavery by 11 jealous brothers. 11 jealous brothers who told Jacob that Joseph had been killed. Now, I realize that being sold into Egyptian slavery by 11 jealous brothers can be a sensitive matter. If that has happened to anyone in this room this morning, I offer you my apologies. I didn't mean to hit that close to home. And yet again, it can be said that there really was no way. Joseph was in prison, and well, that was that. And even so, using his gift as an interpreter of dreams, this Joseph eventually found himself counsel to Pharaoh himself. Among his predictions was that of a famine which landed his 11 jealous brothers at Joseph's feet. You see, Joseph's authority had expanded to include the management of food stores. So a famine which landed his 11 jealous brothers at Joseph's feet, a famine which landed his 11 jealous brothers who didn't recognize Joseph at his feet begging for help. Now, if you've ever been wronged, only to have the perpetrator return to you needing something from you, you already know how the ego might delight in such an opportunity. And yes, there absolutely was some good-spirited trickery, but in the end, Joseph came clean. They all settled in Egypt, effectively displacing Israel to the land of Egypt. This is a crash course in Jewish scripture, by the way. And this is why, in what would become the primal narrative of the Jewish tradition, Moses was among the many Hebrews born in Egypt. And in that primal narrative, simply by being born, Moses was condemned to death. And again, there are many such parallels, more patterns, if you will, between the life and the narrative of Moses and the life and the narrative of Jesus. So doing what any parent would do, well, his mother sought to save him. She put him in a basket, floated him into the river where he would be rescued by whom? Well, by none other than the daughter of Pharaoh himself. Unknowingly, the princess enrolled the birth mother to help with her new baby. You would expect no more from a daytime soap opera or a Real Wives trilogy. As an adult, this Moses saw an Egyptian soldier beating a Hebrew slave. He became enraged. He killed the Egyptian soldier, and of course, he fled. Later in life, this now shepherd stumbled upon that proverbial burning bush. This is a symbol for something of a spiritual revelation, you understand. Our shepherd stumbled upon that proverbial burning bush from which God first revealed God's name as that calling card, which was to be used in returning to Egypt at long last to free his people from their enslavement. In returning to Egypt, to return Israel to the land of Israel. And of course, after some tense negotiations, a few plagues, there were angels of death in there, some blood on doorposts. You'll recognize the roots of the Passover tradition. His people were indeed freed, only to be pursued by the Egyptian military, ultimately to find themselves stranded between an army and a sea. So yet again, it can be said that there really was no way. Moses was stuck. And that was that. And yet Moses waved his staff, the Red Sea parted, the emancipated Hebrews passed, and the pursuing Egyptians were defeated. So it seems to me that the great patriarchs of the pre-Christian era present us with a pattern that speaks to each of us today. And that's what any great archetypal tale will do. It will speak to us here and now. See if you can relate to this. I have to admit that I most certainly can relate at this particular juncture in my 57 years, or is it 58? I'm at that age where I have to have a pencil and a piece of paper to discover my own age. And this speaks to people who do what I do for a living. People who do what I do for a living remind ourselves of that which we need to learn, and we allow you to watch. That's what we do. So see if you can relate to this. It seems to me that life has a way of pressing us to the very edge of the only authority we've ever known, used and trusted. Life has a way of pressing us to the very edge of a personal arrogance. Life has a way of pressing us to the very edge of a bloated ego. Life has a way of pressing us to the very edge, even of a known history. Sarah's too old, and there really is no way. An edge. Joseph's in prison, and there really is no way. An edge. Moses is stuck. There really is no way. An edge. And yet I glean my comfort in the belief that life has a way of pressing us to the very edge of the only authority we've ever known, used, and trusted, not that we might suffer and shrink, but that we might discover and demonstrate what resides beyond. This is what it means when we intuit a God of love. It doesn't mean there will be no more difficult moments. It means that there will be no meaningless moments. It's the wisdom reflected in the first 2 steps of the 12-step program, paraphrased as well, I have reached the edge. May I discover and demonstrate what resides beyond. I have reached the edge. May I discover and demonstrate what resides beyond. Life presses us to the very edges of old possibilities, that we might become a people of new possibilities. Life presses us to the edge of old seeing, that we might become people of new seeing. Life presses us to the edge of old understanding, that we might become people of new understanding. Life presses us to the edge of no ways, that we might become a people of new ways. Could there be a richer time than this to entertain such an interpretation? As organizations and communities, life has pressed us to the edge of no ways, that we might become a people of new ways. I do not really think we can go backward, you see. Life has pressed us to the edge of no ways, that we might become a people of new ways. These aren't archetypal tales about life's conspiracy to reveal your smallness and to punish you. These are archetypal tales about life's conspiracy to affirm your grandness and to empower you. Life, it might be said, is the original tough love parent. Life is ever unfolding its potential in the only way it can, and that's through its expression. That is you. That's you. Tales of Abraham and Joseph and Moses remind us that capital L life knows how to do us. That as we reach the edges of personal arrogance, of bloated ego, of known history, and turn our allegiance to that which knows how to do us, turn our allegiance to that essential self of us, turn our allegiance to the God of our understanding, we join ranks with the so-called miracle workers of old. I have to wonder if these tales would be reiterated best in the words of the poet who wrote, "You have 2 choices. You can decide that your personal knowledge is adequate for the management of your life, or you can decide that the realm of knowledge beyond your personal knowledge is adequate for the management of your life. The former knows exactly what it needs. The latter would never dream of such arrogance. The former strives to control. The latter knows better than to try. The former thrives on the illusion of the knowable. The latter rejoices in the inevitability of the mystery. The former inadvertently contracts and restricts its resources. The latter inadvertently expands and invites the full power of the universe to support all endeavors. The former exists In a world of prayers unanswered, the latter exists in a world of prayers answered even before asked. The former exists in the realm of the unnoticed miracle. The latter exists in the realm of the everyday miracle. With the former, God remains fickle and unpredictable, but with the latter, healing is always possible. The former is a life of earthly force. The latter is a life of spiritual power. One is difficult, the other is easy, but only one trusts. You have two choices. You can decide that your personal knowledge is adequate for the management of your life, or you can decide that the realm of knowledge beyond your personal knowledge is adequate for the management of your life. And in this, we arrive at one of the most important fundamental decisions one can make. Take a deep breath. If you're comfortable doing so, let's close the eyes. Simply for a time of reflection, a time of deeper consideration. Some call it meditation. It matters not. 3-4 minutes. We take another breath. Allowing the very physicality of us to soften. From the temples to the fingers, to the toes. And for whatever life might bring to the screen of your awareness, allow my words to become yours in saying, I might not know what's next, but something in me does. Something new appears on the screen of your awareness. Allow my words to become your own in saying, I might not know what's next, but something in me does. It would take the form of a relationship or a confusion, an incompletion, a limitation. I may not know what's next, but something in me does.
is within you. And so it is.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Dr. Richard. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to be trying to choose the latter this week. Now's the time that we'd like to give you the opportunity to give back to this extraordinary community. There are options for giving on the screen. I don't know about you, but I grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money, and as a consequence, I sometimes have a difficult relationship with giving. And we just want to invite you to consider all of the ways that giving really can kind of change the way you feel about money, about prosperity, as prayer, as an investment, as a practice. So with that, we invite you again to give back, and so it is.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Thank you all. We do have some announcements, but before we get to that, we'd like to take a moment to welcome anyone who is new or newer today. If anybody out there who is first time, kind of new? Nope, nobody wants to stand up for that? Okay, well, if you are, we do welcome you. And if you are new or newer, you'll notice some cards in the seat back in front of you. There's a newcomer's card. You can give us a little information. You get a couple emails a month, really informative stuff about what's going on here. Also, feel free to stop by our Soul Things gift shop after service and pick up a copy of The Daily Word. That's a little booklet of 2 months full of inspirational things to keep you going, and we offer you that. So, some events coming up. As you've heard, where do you go to sign up for stuff? UnityInLynnwood.org on the calendar page. Dinner with Others, this Friday, July 15th, 6:30 p.m. The description reads, share a story, shake a hand, laugh, eat, connect. Let us rehumanize each other as brothers and sisters at a global table for the greater good of all. All are welcome to attend the experiential, no-cost vegetarian dinner. Our co-sponsors are our friends at Ananda, Washington. Unity in Lynnwood's social group invites you to gather on July 23rd at 10 a.m. for the jaunt to Snoqualmie Falls. Enjoy lunch along the way. Shuttle transportation is available on a first-come, first-served basis. And is your phone a mystery? Do you really understand how your email account works? And what about social media? Why can't you share that thing? And what can you do about that person who's hassling you? How do I register for the jaunt to Snoqualmie Falls? If these are among your questions, we invite you to bring your devices and allow Unity in Lynnwood's teens to assist you at the next YOU Roundtable, Sunday, July 24th at 12:30 p.m. Please note that higher level computer and technology issues cannot be addressed, and a professional may be recommended. I can't wait for that. I got 2 teens at home, and they're my help desk. What can I say? The third act lunch, for those age 60 or greater, invites you to the Original Pancake House in Bothell on July 29th at 1 p.m. And finally, join facilitators Barbara Thorpe, licensed Unity teacher, Marge Hampton, and Nancy Parle for Good Grief. In these 90-minute confidential gatherings, discuss the many faces of grief and explore processes for moving through and allowing healing. Consider securing your copy of Loving and Living Your Way Through Grief as a guide, not mandatory for participation. All are welcome, and it's the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month. That's all I got.
Awesome. That concludes the introduction to this morning's service. I will now be moving into the, no, I'm teasing. I apologize for starting the wrong song. Isn't he amazing? I start the wrong song and he just starts singing. If you would like to share a cup of coffee with like-minded souls, please exit the double doors, go through the next double doors, grab a cup, give a nod of thanks to the amazing welcome team members who have made that available to you. I look forward to seeing you there. Take a deep breath. Let's close with that technology we call prayer. Let's close with that strategy, that practice we call prayer. It matters not what you call it. For the third week, I, in fact, encourage you to call it something of your choosing. Prayer can be a loaded word for some people. I like to call it elevation, a time of elevation. Let's close with a time of elevation. And that for me means that I close the outer eyes that would have me believe in a world of separation, a world of limitation, a world of partiality, a world of beginnings and endings. I close my sensory eyes to that world and I turn within, where I can, in deepening, come to recognize a much more expansive world. A world not fraught with such duality, even multiplicity, but a world quite limitless, undeniably eternal. A world in which we are deeply, deeply connected one to the other. Allow this to be the elevation that we take forth then. In other words, we do not abandon this as we begin to reopen those sensory eyes, but we bring it forth. We allow it to be the very lens through which we engage the world, the very lens through which we engage each other. It's a lens that says you are so much more than you appear to be, and that we're deeply one. We're deeply one. And we close this time together as we always do with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure